On February 2nd through the 4th, my friend Scott Gross with the Consolidated Coaching is going to be holding an event in Las Vegas. It's a unique event. It's going to be very small, only 100 people. There will be a lot of peer-to-peer sharing and crowdsourcing ideas. It's going to be fantastic. If you want to check it out, watch this video first and then think about coming, and I might see you there. Just click this banner right over there. That's right, the great cult classic, Soylent Green, and yes, it is people. Now, did you ever think art would become reality? Well, it has become reality, so get a load of this.
New York has become the latest state to allow humans to become part of your compost.
Grandma's growing tomatoes. No, Grandma's decomposing body is growing tomatoes in your backyard, and it's now a reality. So I told you, Soylent Green is people. A person can now have their body turned into soil after their death, which is seen as an environmentally friendly alternative to a burial or cremation, also known as natural organic reduction. The practice sees a body decomposing over several weeks after being shut in a container.
Now, would you do it? This is a two-pronged question. One, would you like to become compost for someone else's garden? And two, would you use human compost to grow your own garden?
Soylent Green is people!
So Open Door suffered a net loss of $928 million between July and September. That's up from a loss of just $57 million during the third quarter of 2021. In a shareholder letter, Open Door attributed $573 million of its net loss to inventory valuation adjustments. Or in other words, the reduced value of the homes Open Door has in inventory. The letter states that excluding this forward-looking adjustment, adjusted net loss was $328 million compared to $18 million just a year ago.
I mean, I gotta say this, I told you so. I've been saying this since Open Door opened their doors. I mean, let's just start calling them closed door at this point. Now, here's the thing. At the height of the market, I mean the hottest market in the history of real estate ever, while charging nearly twice as much as any traditional real estate agent, they couldn't turn a profit. So I thought, what happens if the market turns? What happens if the market goes neutral, or dare I say even negative? And I'll tell you something funny right now. I've been evangelizing against these types of platforms for a number of years now. At one point with my good friend Beef with a Career Compass, Open Door caught wind of what we were doing, so they asked if they could participate in one of our seminars. Like all good pagans, I said yes. So get this, me and Beef versus a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. All we had to do was point out their business model, and they had no response, zero. So it made me think, it's amazing what investors will throw millions and billions at. All these iBuying platforms have a glaring hole in their model. That being, they've never taken into consideration that the market may go neutral or go down, because in those events, these models fail completely. And here we are.
According to the Intelligentsia, remote workers are poised to devastate American cities. A recent analysis of Census Bureau data from the financial site LendingTree found that 29% of Americans were working from home in October of 2022. In New York City, financial firms reported that only 56% of their employees were in the office on a typical day in September. And a recent study from the National Bureau of Economic Research estimated that 30% of all full-time workdays would be performed remotely by the end of 2022.
Think Amazon. Now, go drive down to your local shopping center and you'll get the point. When only 50% of a company's staff leave their home in the morning, that firm's desire for floor space plummets. As a result, here's a graph of income, sales, and property taxes. As you can see, they're all significantly down, which of course makes upkeep and maintaining the necessary level of civil servants a veritable impossibility for all these cities. And when we lose those who keep our city's infrastructure up to speed, urban blight and decay are waiting right around the corner. Unfortunately, that's where we're at right now with almost every major metropolitan area in the country. So how bad is this?
As you can see from this graph, short of Columbus, Ohio, every major city in the country is seeing massive drops in their business centers, with San Francisco leading the way with only 31% of their pre-COVID workforce back behind the desk.
Now, I live and have always lived outside of San Francisco. This was inevitable. Have you seen the city by the bay lately? It ought to be called the favela by the septic tank at this point. I don't only blame COVID, I blame our city leaders who've taken many of our metro areas and abandoned logic, and now people want nothing having to do with these areas, right? Philly, New York, San Francisco, LA, Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, Chicago, St. Louis, and all those on a growing list right now. We have to do better. If we take care of our cities, workers will return. But under the current state of disrepair, don't hold your breath. Hey, listen, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and make sure you share. Talk to you soon.